What is up, guys? This is C10 Danny coming at you guys with another video. And in today's video, we have a couple things to do. Okay, so in my last video, if you guys watched it, if you didn't, I'll leave a link. But we mounted this Accuair VU4 manifold. I got all my airline ran. I mounted all my airbags on all four sides. So these two in the back, these two in the front. Today, what we got to do is finish the air right. I still have to plug up a couple holes on the tank to install my pressure sensor for the Accuair. So the way Accuair works, they give you a pressure sensor. You can adjust the sensor anywhere from 150 psi to 200 psi. The Accuair computer reads the pressure in the tank via said sensor, and depending on what you set the psi to be, once the air pressure in the tank dips below that set pressure, it goes ahead and it turns on the compressors for you, and it fills the tank back up to whatever pressure you set it at. Also, that can be used to manage the speed at which your air goes up and down. If you have a lower pressure in the tank, there's less air pressure to go through the lines and into the airbags, making the airbags fill up much more slowly. If you guys have a lot more pressure, like say 200 psi, that's a lot more air pressure going into the airbags on each corner, causing the truck to come up a lot faster. This is almost a completed frame. Up next, I need to mount my Accuair height sensors, one on each corner, route the wiring harness throughout the chassis, have wire loom to keep everything nice and tidy. Pretty much all we have to do. I will get to work on that and you guys will see the process. These are the fittings that I'm going to be using. These plugs will go in here. If you guys are interested in my air tank setup, I will leave a link down in the description below of where you can get these air compressors, this tank, and all the fittings you need for them. I have to wrap this fitting in Teflon tape. When wrapping Teflon tape, you always want to go with the thread, because if you go the opposite direction when you go to thread this in, it's gonna pull the Teflon tape off of the fitting. So you always want to go with the direction of the thread, and you want to go over it a good 2 or 3 times. You do want to get rid of this bottom stuff right here, because the worst thing that can happen is the Teflon tape rips and then it gets into your airline, contaminates the valves. You can either use Teflon tape, or a lot of people have starting to use like a liquid Loctite. Either way, they both work. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of them and get these installed onto the air tank. So I now have all 4 fittings wrapped, so I'm gonna install these onto the air tank now. Alright guys, so that is the finished product of what those plugs look like. Now, it's been a couple days since I last worked on the truck. I'm over here breaking my head trying to find a good spot for this ride height sensor. So this is kind of what I came up with. The only issue now is that it blocks my airline going in through there. So I'm gonna have to relocate this hole. Right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to run a fitting to my pressure sensor because it doesn't fit, it's loose. So this is 1/8 of an inch, and this is, I believe, 1/4 inch. So I got a step down fitting to fit that. The pressure sensor is installed. I ran Teflon tape both on the sensor itself and on the fitting. Both connections are leak proof. Up next, I'm going to be installing this eye level antenna. This is what's going to allow me to control the ride height of the truck with my phone. Thinking this is a good location for it, so I'm going to go ahead and route this here, and then I will be back with you guys shortly. I'll have my holes drilled for it. It is this one right here and this one up here. So all I gotta do is just put the hardware in there to go ahead and mount it. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount that right now. Alright guys, so I have now installed the high level antenna. It's right in there. Just had to drill my 2 holes, put in these lock nuts and washers. I now have to figure out a situation to route my air line. I did these 2 test holes over here and I can't run it through either of these either. Because this air line is cut so short, it won't reach the fitting on the airbag. So I can do one of 2 things. Make this entire piece again. It's short by about 2 inches or so. Or I can try and route it from the outside so that it just barely misses the sensor. But then I would have to run my airline above the frame rail. And since this is where the Z is, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have issues whenever I go to bolt the cabin. A lot of people told me just to route it through the top, but I can't because the fitting on the airbag is an elbow fitting. In order to run it through the top, I would have to get a standard fitting just like these ones to run up in the front. Alright guys, so that is the end for this week's video. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, just because those sensors have been a pain in the butt for me. I took up 3 days trying to mount those sensors. Those who follow me on Instagram saw that I had originally mounted them on the front of the cross member, but that didn't work. So I had to relocate them to the rear, and then I had issues with mounting them to my control arm. And then once I got them mounted, I ran into the issue of the airline. I also had to wait for brackets to come in so that I can mount them onto the control arm. So that took way longer than it should have. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you are brand new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on those post notifications. I upload videos just like this one each and every Wednesday. If you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure to follow me at C10Danny. A lot of you guys have been showing me your guys' builds on there. A lot of cool stuff going on with you guys. So if you have a cool build, send me pictures. That will be it for this week's video. Don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.